Have you ever wondered if something is destined for you, like getting hit by a car? Will it happen no matter what you do? What if you take a step back or try to avoid it? If every single detail of our lives is preordained and written in our destiny, then what role do we play in this world? Are we just actors in a story that's already been written? For instance, if someone is destined to face a difficult fate, such as being condemned to despair, what is their fault in that? The concept of destiny has been debated for centuries, and it is one of the most complex and difficult ideas to grasp. Throughout history, people have had strong disagreements about it. Some have completely rejected the idea of destiny, while others have accepted it but denied the existence of free will. Both sides often take extreme positions and fail to find a middle ground. But what does the balance view look like? What is the correct understanding of destiny? Could it be that there are aspects of this belief that you've overlooked? To find out the truth, it's crucial to dive deep into this topic. Make sure to watch until the end, as we uncover the wisdom that lies within. Belief in destiny means trusting that, from the very beginning, God has knowledge of everything that will unfold in the universe. Every detail, past, present, and future, is already known to God. But how can something be completely known and written before it even happens? It is natural for us to find this difficult to understand, especially because we live within the constraints of time. We experience time as a linear flow, but God exists outside of time, unaffected by it. To understand this, let's break down the concept of time itself. Time, as we know it, is the unfolding of events created from God's infinite knowledge. It is the sequence in which things are brought into existence, continue to exist, and eventually cease to exist. In essence, time is the unfolding of creation. Just as God creates a new day each day, time moves forward, creating distinct moments one after another. Think of time as a rope where events are lined up, one after the other. This sequence of events applies to us, but in God's knowledge, all of time, past, present, and future, exists simultaneously. To illustrate this, imagine you have a poem in your memory. All the lines of the poem exist there at once, but when you write them down, you do so one line at a time in order. The sequence in which you write them is time, but in your memory, they all exist at once. This is similar to how everything that has happened and will happen already exists in God's knowledge. And while we experience time in a linear fashion, God, who is not bound by time, perceives all of time at once. God is the creator of time, and everything in creation is subject to it. But God, being outside of time, is not bound by it. If God is not limited by time, isn't it natural that he would know everything that will happen? To demonstrate this, let's use an analogy. Imagine holding a camera over a table where a line is drawn. On the left side is the past, in the middle is the present, and to the right is the future. As the camera stays close to the table, it captures only the present moment. But as we raise the camera higher, it begins to capture more of the past and future. When the camera is high enough, it can see everything at once. Similarly, we are living our lives along a timeline, but God, standing outside of time, can see and know all of it, past, present, and future, simultaneously. Now, we arrive at a common question. If God knows everything in advance, does that mean we have no free will? Are we simply puppets, acting out a script that has already been written? On the surface, the concepts of destiny and free will appear to contradict one another. But even though we might not fully understand how these two fit together, we know deep down that we have the ability to make choices. For instance, in a 2012 study by the Pew Research Center, Muslims around the world were asked about their belief in destiny and whether they believed in free will. While 70 to 90% of Muslims affirmed their belief in a predetermined destiny, they also strongly believed in individual responsibility and free will. This suggests that even though people may believe in a preordained path, they still acknowledge their role in making choices. So, how do we reconcile the two ideas? The key is understanding that knowing something will happen does not mean forcing someone to act in a specific way. God's knowledge of our actions does not dictate them. We still have the freedom to make decisions, but within a framework that has already been written. It's like knowing the outcome of a game, but still playing it step by step, experiencing each move and decision as part of the process. The most common mistake people make is to confuse two distinct concepts, knowledge and power. Knowing something is entirely different from causing it to happen. Understanding this difference is key to grasping the truth about destiny. Think of sunlight and its colors, yellow, red, and orange, each unique yet coming from the same source. In the same way, God's attributes are diverse. One reflects his infinite knowledge, while another expresses his limitless power. His knowing and his commanding are two separate realities. So, the fact that God knows everything does not mean that we are deprived of free will, nor that everything we do is forced upon us. There is a profound principle in the science of logic. Knowledge depends on what is known. In other words, knowledge reflects reality. It doesn't create it. Knowledge does not bring something into existence or change its nature. It merely corresponds to how that thing actually is. Here's a simple example to make this clear. Imagine standing on top of a mountain and seeing two trains speeding toward each other on the same track. You realize they are about to collide, so you write on a piece of paper, "These trains will crash in 8 seconds." And indeed, 8 seconds later, they crash. Now, can we say, the trains crash because you wrote that on the paper? Of course not. You didn't cause the crash. You simply knew it was going to happen based on what you could see. If we, with our limited knowledge, can't foresee such an event, then surely God, with infinite awareness, can know everything that will happen in our lives. But God's knowledge of future events does not force them to occur. It simply mirrors the reality of what we freely choose. Think about the sunrise. The time of sunrise is written on the calendar, right? But can that writing make the sun rise at that time? Of course not. It's written that way because it reflects what will actually happen. Similarly, the fact that God knows what we will do does not make us do those things. They are written in our destiny because they are what we will, in reality, choose to do. Knowledge doesn't shape reality, it aligns with it. At this point, it's important to clarify that destiny is divided into two types: involuntary destiny and voluntary destiny. Involuntary destiny includes everything beyond our control, matters that are entirely determined by God. These are things we have no choice in, such as our birth, our physical characteristics, or the era we live in. Voluntary destiny, on the other hand, covers all the choices that we consciously make. And this is where responsibility begins. The fact that God governs certain aspects of our existence does not mean we are exempt from accountability. We are accountable for what we are capable of choosing. Let's illustrate this with a simple example. Imagine an elevator. The user of the elevator doesn't control its internal mechanics or design. These are predetermined by the engineers. However, the person does decide which floor to go to. Whether he chooses to go up to the 7th floor or down to the basement is entirely up to him. In life, our condition is quite similar. Some aspects are beyond our influence, and we are not responsible for them. Others are within our reach, and these are the ones we'll be accountable for. For instance, we don't get to choose whether we are born male or female, who our parents are, what our natural features will be, or where we are born. These things are predetermined, like the structure of the elevator itself. This is what we call involuntary destiny. But when it comes to our decisions, our moral choices, our words, and our actions, those belong to voluntary destiny. We are free to choose between right and wrong, between kindness and cruelty, between building or destroying. Each choice we make is a reflection of our free will, and it is these choices that shape our spiritual path. In this sense, life is much like standing in that elevator. We may not have designed the building or the machine, but we do get to press the button that determines which direction we go. Every decision is a floor we choose, upward toward growth and light, or downward toward regret and darkness. Now here's something fascinating. The evidence of destiny is not hidden. It's all around us. The entire universe bears the signature of divine order and planning. Destiny, at its core, means knowledge and design. And everywhere we look, we find that creation operates through perfect knowledge and perfect design. Think of an apple tree you notice while walking down the street. Every stage of that tree's growth, from seed to blossom to fruit, was already contained in its seed. The potential for branches, leaves, and apples was pre-written inside it. There was a plan, a program, a blueprint, a tiny version of destiny embedded within. Or consider a white rabbit, a playful kitten, or a newborn baby with deep blue eyes. Each of them carries within their DNA a divine code, a written record of who they are meant to be. DNA, in a way, is like a micro book of destiny, holding information about physical traits, tendencies, and even potential illnesses that might emerge in the future. When we see that the length of every eyelash is measured, that every strand of hair grows according to a unique pattern, that the proportions of our fingers follow mathematical harmony, we begin to see that nothing in creation is random. There is intention, logic, and intelligence in everything. Destiny, then, is not about control. It's about divine wisdom expressed through order. Every cell, every planet, every heartbeat, and every breath operates within a system so intricate that it points to higher knowledge. If you're watching this right now on Quantum Aligned, it might not be a coincidence. Maybe this moment was always meant to reach you, a reminder that your choices matter, but they are also guided by a greater plan. Everything you see around you, from the stars above to the DNA inside you, is a reflection of divine precision. Destiny is not a chain that binds you. It's a map that gives meaning to your freedom. So next time you look at the world, notice the design in everything, the rhythm of your heartbeat, the structure of a leaf, the orbit of the planets. All of them are whispers of the same truth. Knowledge and planning sustain the universe. And in that balance, you'll find both destiny and freedom beautifully intertwined. And before we move to the next part, if you find this exploration inspiring, remember to stay connected with Channel Quantum Aligned, a place where divine wisdom meets the science of existence. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you believe knowledge and destiny are truly aligned. If something functions in a highly organized and precise manner, doesn't it naturally imply that there is a plan behind it? It's impossible for something that operates with such order to be random or spontaneous. Think about it. Everything from atoms to the stars follows a specific law. The movements of the sun and the moon follow a fixed pattern, and even the blueprint for all living beings is written in their seeds, in their DNA. This shows us that destiny is not a mere concept, but an obvious reality that governs the universe. Even something as subtle as the feeling of déjà vu can be seen as a proof of destiny. You've probably experienced it, that feeling of, wait, I've lived this moment before. It's a strange sensation, isn't it? The reason we feel this way is because, in the realm of souls, God allowed us to see that specific event on the preserved tablet, the tablet of destiny. This tablet contains the knowledge of all events, actions, and outcomes from the beginning of creation until the end of time. When that event actually occurs, it feels familiar because, in the spiritual realm, our souls were shown it beforehand. How could we possibly know about an event we've just experienced unless it was revealed to us before? This means that our souls were shown that moment from our book of destiny. It's as if the experience of déjà vu is the soul's recognition of what was already written. The term déjà vu, meaning already seen in French, aptly describes this phenomenon. So, it's not irrational to believe that all of our experiences both physical and spiritual, are already written in some way. If we observe nature and the universe, the existence of destiny becomes even clearer. Everything operates within a precise design, from the movement of celestial bodies to the intricate processes of life itself. This perfectly ordered system points to the fact that nothing happens randomly. The creation of each being, its development, its very essence, is part of a greater plan. For example, think of the apple tree you pass on your walk. Every stage of its development was already written in the seed, the exact form, the growth pattern, and the fruit it would bear. This was all part of the plan embedded within the seed, long before the tree even existed. The same applies to every living creature, whether it's a cute rabbit, a kitten, or a newborn baby gazing with curiosity at the world. The DNA of these beings holds the blueprint for their existence. Their potential, their traits, and even their vulnerabilities are all preordained in the divine plan. DNA, in essence, functions like a micro version of the Book of Destiny. It holds information about the organism before it even comes into being, outlining its path in the physical world. Everything from the length of our eyelashes to the way our fingers are shaped, even the color of our eyes, points to a divine design. These traits are not random. They are carefully planned, just as everything in the universe is. The universe itself functions in perfect order, revealing the reality of destiny through its design. This leads us to another key concept within the realm of destiny: the different types of decrees. One of the most important distinctions is between conditional decree and absolute decree. Conditional decree is changeable. It's dependent on actions or choices. For example, God may decree a hardship or a calamity for someone, but this decree is conditional. It could be lifted or alleviated if the person takes a specific action, such as praying or giving charity. This shows us that while certain outcomes are predestined, they are also influenced by our choices. The famous hadith about charity being a shield from calamity exemplifies this. In conditional decree, if someone gives charity, the hardship may be averted. But if they don't, the calamity may strike. What's important here is that the choice to give charity or not to is written in the divine plan. However, the action itself is within the individual's free will. On the other hand, absolute decree is fixed. It cannot be changed. For example, God knows the final outcome of every being, and certain events are destined to happen no matter what. This type of decree is unalterable, and no matter what choices we make, the outcome is as God has determined. To illustrate this, think of two distinct tablets: the tablet of erasure and affirmation where conditional decrees are written, and the preserved tablet where the absolute decrees are recorded. The preserved tablet contains the final, unchangeable destiny. The tablet of erasure and affirmation, however, is more flexible, and the events written on it can be altered depending on human actions and choices. But ultimately, God knows the final outcome of everything. While we are not privy to the specifics of this knowledge, we are still responsible for the actions we can control. The key, therefore, is to do our best and to seek guidance through prayer and effort. One of the most beautiful aspects of believing in destiny is that it provides a sense of deep peace and trust. When hardships and challenges arise, someone who believes in destiny remains calm, knowing that everything is perfectly planned. The certainty that everything, from the smallest detail to the largest event, is in God's hands brings a sense of serenity and confidence. When you believe in destiny, you are not filled with anxiety. You understand that no moment in life happens by chance or without purpose. Every event has meaning and wisdom behind it, even if you can't see it right away. This belief brings comfort because you know that God is taking care of you every moment. A person who believes in destiny is at peace with life's ups and downs. When challenges arise, they trust in the process, knowing that God is guiding them. They are not burdened by the fear of the future or regrets about the past. Their trust lies in the divine plan. My Lord is enough for me, they say, and they continue their journey with confidence and peace. Belief in destiny also keeps one humble. A believer knows that their successes, talents, and good deeds are not solely the result of their efforts, but are blessings from God. This awareness keeps them humble and focused on gratitude rather than ego. At the same time, they also recognize their responsibility for their actions. If they do wrong, they don't blame it on fate, but take ownership of their choices, knowing that they had the free will to choose differently. One of the most profound aspects of destiny is that it provides a balance between the mind and the heart. It is logical, yet it touches the soul with peace and understanding. This harmony is a testament to the wisdom of the divine plan. So, going back to the original question, was watching this video part of your destiny? Yes, it was. But it was you who made the choice to click and watch it. Similarly, as you move through life, the choices you make, whether they lead you to a place of peace or hardship, are your own. Your destiny is written, but it's the choices you make that determine the path you take. And when you reach the end of your journey, where you will be, whether in a place of light or a place of darkness, will be determined by the choices you made with your free will.